Hey YouTubers, this will be my 6-month review of the Fort Knox mailbox. I had planned on doing this video the day after I put it in, but you know how things are. It just gets busy. So let me tell you a little bit about what I did here. So there's a lot of ways you could have one of these installed. That's the hardware. We'll start with the good stuff. You can mount it. I used what's called anchor bolts. These were set in the concrete, measured with a template that I made prior to the installation of the mailbox. So when the concrete dried, we basically had those bolts sticking out of the concrete, and then I just had to get to the fun stuff. So the mailbox in itself is really well built. You can see the welding, nice welding there. Really clean, no rough edges. A really clean seam right here where the fold is at, and that weld, that's a weld. They did a really good job on that. The finish on the mailbox, as you can see, is black. It's very shiny. It's powder coated. I wax it about once every couple months. You see it's got a scuff there from my son-in-law when we were installing it. No big deal. The biggest problem I had, and the only problem, was mounting the box onto the pole. You see how those nuts don't sit right? This is the hardware that came with it. So these nuts have a square insert. The holes are drilled round, and to beat, none of the holes from this post right here, only one lined up, and that's because I lined it up with the actual box. This is very thick steel, so let me tell you, it was a pain in the ass to fix the holes so that the holes on the base lined up with the holes on the mailbox. It's way too hard to adjust the holes on the mailbox. So what I did, I got me a big drill bit, and I had to work on these holes, all 4 of them, because these, look at, you see, only one of them is in flat. The others didn't go all the way in because the fact that they're square and the holes are round. I had to drill for like easily an hour. Burned out a couple bits because I didn't have the greatest bits, and then I went and bought a real bit. So number one, the quality control is probably the worst quality control I've ever seen on any product I've bought. The manufacturing in itself goes with quality control. So, you know, like I said, that was the problem. You got some great steel hinges there. Opens and closes. The lock works great. What I did, I put a Home Depot bucket in the ground with my template on top, with my bolts in it, filled it with concrete, leveled it out, let it sit for 3 days. Then I came back and set the base on top of the bucket. The bucket goes down, who knows, you know, Home Depot bucket. But let me tell you, if somebody wants the mail bad enough, they're gonna have to carry this thing away. My plan is, I'm gonna put a couple little welds on there, but I don't have my welder with me. So it's been 6 months like this, and my wife always stacks rocks so people can't see the bolts, so I just took them off because I don't want to scratch this beautiful post. The finish is nice. I'm probably going to cap it with some concrete, a square little block. If I have to move it later, I just break away the block, expose the bolts, and remove it. Other than that, I mean, I'm happy with the quality of the box. I mean, this thing is, listen to this, sounds like a bell. This steel is thick, and I could attest to that. If you're an old person or you're a person that doesn't know how to use tools, I would really, before purchasing this, have a long conversation about this video and the concerns regarding the template from the box itself lining up to the pole. Because this thing did not line up. And the other problem, the hardware. You can't stick a square item into a round hole. It didn't come with those lock washers either. I put those lock washers on there. So with that said, I mean, quality-wise, it's a real nice mailbox. Looks good. Neighbors have asked me about it. The mailman loves it. He always comments on it. It abides by the California state requirements for mailmen. My hand is super skinny. I weigh 157 pounds. If I wanted to get it in there, I probably could, but it would never come out. Only a child could get its hand in there, and even at that, we're talking about right here, 6 inches of plate. The only way you could get the mailbox out is simply using maybe a wire with a piece of gum on it, and you could fish mail out all day probably, but it wouldn't be that easy. It'd be very difficult, actually. But with that said, maybe I'll do a video trying to do that. That'd be a good video. But other than that, look at that. Sorry the video's so long and I'm so boring. Lock's great. They have another option where the door, you can leave it open for a package delivery, and then the deliverer just shuts the door and it locks by itself. These mailboxes are expensive as hell. Really expensive. So I was trying to save money wherever I could. I wish I got the option with the slam shut door for the Amazon guy, because my dog loves tearing up Amazon packages. So with that said, maybe later when I'm expecting a package, maybe I'll purchase that part online from Fort Knox. That way the delivery guy could just put the package in and slam the door shut, and we'll have no issues. I've only had one package stolen. That's the numbers that come with it. They'll do. I have my number on the curb, which is giant and always freshly painted. So remember, you do have to maintenance it. I keep mine waxed because I want it to look good forever. There's a lot of propaganda on this box, so man, I like the Made in USA. I don't know about the Fort Knox and all that crap, but nevertheless, it's there and I wasn't about to pull it off. So with that said, it's a great mailbox. I don't advise it for anybody who doesn't know how to use tools, or make sure you're not going to have the problem I did. When I seen the quality of the box in the packaging, I was like blown away until I tried to put it together. Oh, one last thing. The post in itself, I had mine specially ordered to that length because the mailmen over here, a bunch of divas. So you see, this level is right to my shoulder, and that's where the mailmen like it. So with that said, if you're gonna set yours up on an easement like this, you're gonna have to make sure and request that post to be short. I still paid full price though. They didn't give me a break on the price because it was short. So that's 15 inches right there. So there you go. Sorry about the long video.